In this presentation, we're going to compare New Zealand to Australia. Through this campaign, we hope that New Zealand as a country will become more successful like other countries, like for example, Australia. Even though Australia and New Zealand are in the same region, they both have contrasting populations and they are both in the same area, as you can see. And they both have like different populations. Australia's is 25 million, while New Zealand is barely 5 million. It might have to do with the fact that Australia is much bigger than New Zealand, but still. Australia's, as you can see, Australia's GDP is much bigger than New Zealand's. Knowing that GDP is the total value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a year, Australia's GDP is 7 times higher than that of New Zealand. A high GDP means that the citizens of the country are having high incomes, the costs of living are low, and if the country is making more export and the country is making more exports than imports, that means that the economy of the country is moving forward. But New Zealand does not have any of that, and their exports are really low compared to Australia's. Australia uses most of their resources on production for exportation, 75% of their resources, and it's ranked 22nd in the world, while New Zealand does not export much and is ranked 61st in the world. That is why there is a huge gap in the GDP and why New Zealand has such a low GDP. However, it has limitations when there are inflations in the GDP and it will rise even though the country doesn't produce that much. A low GNI per capita shows us that New Zealand is struggling financially compared to other countries, and it is also the reason why there is an increase in the public debt that New Zealand has. Again, you may observe the GNI of Australia, which is higher than New Zealand's. GNI takes into account the income earned by workers that went to other countries to have higher income. That income will be sent back to the country of origin. However, this huge gap between the countries' GNI does not only show how New Zealand is struggling, it also compared to Australia. Actually, a lot of the citizens of New Zealand are moving to Australia because of the low incomes that they have. The GDP PPP is of Australia is higher, which means that their purchasing power is higher. Both Australia and New Zealand pay high incomes to their workers. However, the costs of living in Australia are low, so people can save, invest, or spend more money. While in New Zealand, the costs of living are really high, so people spend less and save more, which is what the PPP shows us.